Etsy ads or no Etsy ads, listing thousands of listings or just going for low competition niches. The list of strategies that we can use on Etsy is so long, so in this video I'll go over the strategies that I've used myself to grow my store into six-figure profits as someone who actually lives in the EU and only targets the US. Let's get into it. Print on demand is a process where you can list tons and tons of products on a website like Etsy, and you only pay for the item once it sells. This allows for a very low risk business model with tons of upsides. Now, to make this happen, we need four things. We need a great product, we need a design to sell on top of the product, we need great packaging, and we also need a great offer. All right, so the first thing that we gotta do is find a product to sell. So if we head into Etsy here, we can basically just search for gifts, custom gifts for women. As Etsy overall has branded themselves as the home for personalized gifts for women. So let's just search custom gifts for women, see what we find. Now I live in Sweden, so I gotta filter this to the US to make sure I only have appropriate items for my target market, which is only the US. Let's see here. Okay, so we have some posters, we have some candles, some blankets, sweatshirts, more posters, sweatshirts, a hoodie, sweatshirts, some jewelry boxes, another sweatshirt. We got some more posters, a tumbler, this thingy. What we want to find here is common denominators. So we can definitely see that there's lots of sweatshirts. So let's, lots of sweatshirts for sure, but also some candles. Since we have found lots of sweatshirts here, we'll just head to sweatshirts. So to narrow down the search a bit, we'll just search custom sweatshirts for women. Same thing, the filters gets removed for some reason, so I gotta apply this again. Now we know that sweatshirts are definitely popular because all of these are bestsellers, and we have 5 pages just of raw bestsellers, maybe even more. Let's see here. Let's gauge if we can actually make some margins with this. So if we just head into this one, and then we look here. Again, I live in Sweden, so all of these is in my chosen currency, which is the Swedish kroner, which is SEK. So the first thing that I could do, since I live in Sweden, we have a 23% VAT rate here. So I gotta deduct that. Since I live in Sweden, that's applied automatically. So this is this much, 328. Gotta convert this to USD. So let's see if there's any shipping on top of this. Yes, 67. So let's just write 395. Okay, so this person is selling this sweatshirt for $36.62 basically. And then I head into my trusty Alora Etsy calculator that I really love, and we'll just write 36.62 because that's what it was. Yes, that's what they sell there. Now we head into Printify to see if there's actually how much this costs, to gauge if we can make some margins on this. Now, when it comes to margins, I want to see a margin, basically a gross margin is what I refer to, but a gross margin of 30 to 40%. So let's see here. Yes, let's see, 3091 plus 849, 22.4 in cost. And that's almost a 30% margin. So we can definitely probably squeeze some more margin with this. But I definitely call this a profitable product because there's also almost a $10 margin on this. So I definitely approve this for sure. So now we know what product to sell. The second thing we gotta do is find which design to put on this specific product. And to do that, we do some more research. So we head back into Etsy and we search for custom sweatshirt because, as I mentioned, the custom listings tend to have a higher conversion rate than normal listings. What we want to do here is just take a browse here and just see what types of design styles are selling so that we can actually make a list of all the types of design styles that are selling well. So for instance here, we can see that there are several listings that are selling this college style listings. We have these two. We can also see that the retro is definitely popular here. This is also more of the college varsity style. So now we found 3 with college varsity style in. So let's just take and write up college varsity style. Some cursive stuff, more college varsity. So college varsity is definitely a popular one. There's lots of cursive ones. So cursive, 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 cursive. We'll also write up cursive. And then this is kind of a retro style too, so we'll just write up retro too. Now the thing to note here is that this one is only using a retro style design. This one is mainly using a college varsity style, plus it's embroidered, but mainly like a college varsity. Same thing with this one, mainly a college style, college style, college style, college style, and cursive style, for instance here. So what we want to do here now is that now that we have our best selling elements list, is that we want to combine these elements to make something new and add value to the platform. Since we know that these are working individually very well, we can just combine these in different ways to make something new and add value to the platform. So to do that, we head into a program that I love to use, which would be Canva. I always use a 4500 by 5400. That's the dimensions that Amazon uses, so it works perfectly for this too. Now we have Canva here. We gotta make a custom listing, a custom sweatshirt listing that combine these elements. To find the elements, the fonts is in and of itself, we head to a site called Creative Fabrica. This is where I get all my fonts and all my elements overall. So let's just search for retro font. Perfect, this one would be good. Now we need a cursive font. This one would be perfect, the Chica font. And now we will have the the college font. Let's see if we can find here. Let's take this one. Okay, so now we have our fonts here. The Augusta, we have the Chica font, and we have the second pointed font. I've already downloaded these, so I already have them here. So the first thing that we gotta do is that we gotta, let's use the Augusta. Now these types of design, what we wanna do here is that we wanna just make something like, that says basically something like this or this. So let's just have it say custom text. Custom text. And as I mentioned, we want to combine stuff to create something new. So let's combine the retro one with, for instance, the college one. Let's just take this one and make this college. So the pointed, second pointed. Main variable when it comes to Etsy is finding a design that actually works. So what we got to do here is test lots of variables to make sure that we find something that actually works. So we have our first design here, which could work very well. I usually use a background like this to make sure that I can see both on black and white, just makes it easier. So yeah, we have our first design here to test out, but we can't really just end there. We gotta make some other adjustments as well to make sure that we're testing as much as possible, since this is the biggest variable to actually selling. So this will be the first design. Let's also try this with the Chica font. So maybe this is the right way to go, for instance. Custom text like this instead. Now a bonus to this as well is that we can actually include some font options within the listing to make sure that we can actually find this easier by having different combinations that people can choose. So let's say that we have all of these available as options within the listing so that the customer can choose which font they like the most. That way we can actually know even faster which combinations of these fonts will work the best. Now we gotta head to the packaging part. I can't stress this enough about how important this is. Having the correct mockups will basically make or break the listing in and of itself. A customer just searched, for instance, custom sweatshirts for women. The only thing that they actually view is this page here, and it's mainly the first page. Most of the sales happen here. And what they view is mainly the thumbnail. This means that we need to have the correct title in our listing to make sure that we're showing up for the right keywords. And that's really simple. I usually use the example by having, like, if we sell a flamingo shirt, for instance, a custom flamingo shirt, then it should say custom flamingo shirt, not bird shirt. So making sure that we're actually targeting only the thing that we're selling, not anything too broad. It's just not a good way of actually approaching SEO, because if it's a flamingo shirt, it should just say flamingo shirt, not bird shirt. So just keeping it simple and only keeping relevant keywords within the listing is my way to go. That served me the best. What we want to find now when it comes to researching here, we know that having simple SEO with just relevant keywords is important. The thumbnail is also an important thing. What we want to note here is that if we can see common denominators within these listings, like for instance, which exact markups they are using, I would really make note of that and just buy the same markups that they are using, because usually you can find the exact markup on Etsy itself. So for sleeve prints, for instance, this one is a great one. We're not doing that this time, but we found that this exact model markup here is doing very well. So let's see here. We have 1, we have 2, 3, 4. Just on this alone, this is doing very well. So we have this sand markup here that's doing very well. So let's just search for Gildan 18,000 sand markup. And there it is, just right off the bat. So what I would then do is just take this markup and use this as my thumbnail as well. Just buy it from the store and just use it at myself. Now, we need 3 of these to cover the whole offer. So to make the offer more enticing, it's always best, in my opinion, to have different mockups for each part of the offer. So that leads me to the last part, which is the offer itself. We need a great design together with a guarantee and a size chart. In the beginning, that's really all we need to get going, as it can feel really overwhelming with all of the POD stuff. Just having a great thumbnail with a great size chart and a simple guarantee is the way to go to just get going, so that we're not hauled up in our Etsy progress. So this one would definitely be the thumbnail. Now we need other ones. What we can learn here, because we don't want 3 of the same images here, we want some variation so that the customer can get a better grasp of how the design will look on the t-shirt or the sweatshirt. So what we want to see here is common denominators within the mockups. And what the common denominator is here within all of these is that none of these are actually hard to view. You can see all of the designs super clearly. And this one is a bit hard, but almost all of these are very, very, very easy to view when you're just browsing like this in search. You can just easily see what it says within the design. If we keep that in mind, we can just search for Gildan 18,000 mockup. And what we want to know here is that we want to make sure that it looks something like this, for instance, like this. It's super easy to see, and it's not really far away. For instance, like an example of a mockup that I wouldn't use would, for instance, be something like this. It's a great, like, visually aesthetic great mockup, but it's way too far away, so the person will have a hard time actually seeing the design itself. So I would definitely not buy this one. However, this one for back prints, for instance, is really good. We just got to keep in mind they have to be very visibly clear when we're looking at the images. This could be a good one. Let's see here if we can take some other ones. We have this one. This one could be a great one because we can easily and clearly see the design here. I think it's just better to just purchase the size chart from another store so we can just have that set. So for instance, this one is perfect. Just buying this one makes it super clear. Or if you'd like, this one is a bit more clear when it comes to the numbers itself. So this one could be good too, but just buying the last size chart could be good. Now we have basically the mockups that we want to sell, that we want to put the offer on. So what we would do here is that we would put our design here. We would then put our design on the top of this one as well, but include, for instance, a guarantee here. So we would basically, on this listing, we would just say, if anything happens or something like that, if there's any issues, you can always just contact us and get a refund or replacement. That puts a lot of risk off of the customer and puts it back on us, the sellers. but it definitely just raises conversion rates and it really increases the offer. Apart from that, the last thing in the listing images would be the size chart. So just the main thumbnail with the design again with the guarantee, and then the size chart itself. A big important piece to this puzzle too is actually when we are listing this on Etsy, that we are listing this at a break-even price. Now, what I mean by that is that when we're listing it, we should be earning about a $2 to $4 margin. This is because when we list something on Etsy, it's actually boosted in search initially. If we can get that boost, plus it's really cheap, then that just gives us a much higher likelihood of actually selling in the beginning. And selling is the main derivative of rank. So if we are selling initially, then that will lead to rank on our listings, and rank is basically everything, because if we are showing up on the first page for this here, then we will have so much traffic that we will definitely, like for instance, have sales. But the only way to get here is by getting sales initially and just building up steadily. If we head back to the Allure Etsy calculator here, the profit pricing would be somewhere around this. I'd rather see like $10 profit or a 30% or more. But in the beginning, instead use something like, this is too low, $28 too low, let's use $30, too much, let's use $29. Yeah, something around $29 to have a break-even pricing initially. This would cover any mistakes made or anything like that, or just to have some kind of buffer for anything that could happen, because we do want to have some margin just to cover any issues. Listing the sweatshirt at $29 in the beginning, and once it achieves either 10 to 15 sales or 50% Everbee score. What I mean by that is that if we head into Everbee here and we just click this, there's a visibility score here that we can see, which says 100% here. If this is 50% or more, I would also be able to raise it to profit pricing instead of break-even pricing if it's achieved 50% or more in a visibility score. Either 10 to 15 sales or 50% or more in a visibility score, and I would bump it up to profit pricing instead of break-even pricing. And an important bonus part, when we list something on Etsy, we're actually boosted initially in search. I think this is because they want to test listings out to see which could work, which is why they get a boost initially. So using ads on top of having a break-even pricing will definitely like boost the listing at maximum, and this will yield results faster. If you feel more that you want to spend some more money to get faster results, I would definitely use ads. But if you feel more risk averse, you can just not do it and just use it organically instead. It takes longer time, but you can see results that way too. All right, so we just covered the full spectrum of starting a print-on-demand business today. If there's anything that you'd like me to cover next, just drop a comment down below and I'll do my best to help out. I'll see you in the next one.